What's up, my friends? Welcome back to Keeping It Keilan. I'm Keilan Morrissey, and today we're going to be discussing some very cool pieces of Snyder Cut news. So first and foremost, we finally got a look at the storyboards for Justice League 2 and 3, or as the storyboards call them for some reason, Justice League 2 and 2A. I'm assuming there's some screenwriting lingo is the reason for why it's called 2 and 2A. I'm not entirely sure, but the storyboards were fascinating, and it essentially lays out what would have happened in the two Justice League films that would have succeeded Zack Snyder's Justice League, which comes to HBO Max on March 18th. And so basically, the second Justice League film would have introduced the Legion of Doom. Now, full disclosure, I thought that the reference to the Legion of Doom in 2017 Justice League, I thought that was a reshoot. I was actually very sure that was something that maybe Whedon or Jeff Johns added in, thinking, okay, we want to steer away from Snyder's storyline and, move away from the whole dark side, nightmare, apocalypse theme, and instead go to just good old-fashioned villains. So I did not expect the Legion of Doom to be in Zack Snyder's storyboards. But the way that he introduces them is very interesting, actually. So in Justice League 2, and spoiler alert for the storyboards for movies that may not or may happen, if they do happen, it probably won't be exactly as storyboarded. But basically, so we have Lex Luthor, and then we have several other villains, all of whom had the DCEU proceeded in the way it was originally intended to, those other villains would have already appeared. So we have Dr. Poison from the first Wonder Woman film. We have Captain Cold from the Flash film that was supposed to come out in 2018. We would have Black Manta and Ocean Master from the Aquaman film. And we would have the Riddler from Ben Affleck's Batman film, which I'm still hoping we get one day. A man can dream. But yeah, so Luthor would have assembled this sort of team, and Justice League 2 would have been basically a heroes versus villains movie, which I think would be pretty cool. And it seems like that's straying from the Darkseid storyline, but in the end, it would have been revealed that these villains are actually working with Darkseid and the Apocalyptian forces in some degree. So where it gets really crazy is that the team is assembled in the beginning. They're united. That's right. Assembled as Avengers, united as Justice League. So the team is united, and they're working together well. And they're fighting these villains. But the villains kind of win. So the villains actually kill some of the heroes. So Aquaman dies. Cyborg gets ripped in half, saving the Flash's life. Wonder Woman, I believe, would die, saving Themyscira, or trying to save Themyscira from an attack by Dr. Poison. So you're looking at several of the main characters dying, and then it's revealed in the end that Darkseid and his forces were behind what these villains were doing. And I assume that is where Darkseid then uses the anti-life equation to get control of Superman. And that's when everything gets bad. That's when he's able to ravage the Earth, and the remaining Justice League members, Batman, Flash, and half of Cyborg, they're this sort of ragtag team in the distant future that has to defeat evil Superman and save the world from Darkseid. So Justice League 3 would have introduced Green Lantern, and the coolest takeaway for me as a fan-turn, as a Green Lantern fan, was seeing Jim Lee's illustrations for what Snyder's lanterns would have looked like. I mean, we had, you had, I presume, Hal, you had Kilowog, you had some of those guys, and they looked really cool. I don't know if they're going to, or if they did use any elements of those designs in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but But yeah, the Lantern involvement would have been really cool. So you would have had the final Justice League film would have been this ragtag team of heroes and some villains. I think Deadshot was actually with them, trying to run back the clock and stop the Justice League from being killed and stop Superman from becoming evil. And so, and the thing that Zack Snyder mentioned at SnyderCon, the director's cut weekend in Pasadena, was the idea of Darkseid boom tubing, that's a tongue twister, into the Batcave to kill Lois Lane, which is right. Lois Lane is the key. Lois Lane is the one who he finally, through her, is able to take control of Superman and make him succumb to the anti-life equation. And so I forget exactly where in the two movies this timeline sort of happens. I believe that is something that happens towards the end of Justice League 2. That then is one of the things Flash has to go back in time and reverse in Justice League 3. And throughout all this time, Lois is pregnant with a child. Superman's child, we think. Now, after the events of Justice League 3, basically everybody, they save the world. Batman sacrifices himself in doing so. Batman dies Final Crisis style and in saving the world. And then it's revealed that Lois's child was not Superman's. It was Bruce's. So in Superman's absence, Lois and Bruce had a thing. And that was part of the original script for ZSJL that was shot down. But this new child is Batman's. And so then it shows like 20 years later, Lois Lane's son, Lois and Bruce's son, becomes the new Batman, which would be crazy because that's a character that doesn't even exist in any way in the comics. But yeah, so I personally love the story, love how it would have gone, and I would be very interested to see what ending would happen if he were to continue this story, if he continued the Justice League saga either through comics or films, ideally. I would be very interested to see now that the Lois and Bruce relationship didn't pan out, how would he conclude it? What would be, would Batman still be the one to make the big sacrifice? How would that work? So yeah, storyboards are fascinating. Also, something that's kind of cool is I watched an interview with Zack recently on, I think it was the Film Junkies channel, where he said that the storyboards, which have, people have kind of been seeing them on these whiteboards. Those whiteboards literally rose out of the ground in his office, which is so cool. Like to have just all these whiteboards you can just brainstorm all day. Like that's awesome. So it was him, it was Jim Lee, and it was Jeff Johns who actually wrote out the storyboards, which makes me feel conflicted now knowing Jeff Johns was instrumental in presumably, I don't know all the facts, but the picture that has been painted by many involved in the film is that Jeff Johns was he was on Whedon's side. He changed the film. He wanted to alter it. He sort of pushed it to be further from Zack's vision and something entirely different, more Marvel-y, more action adventure, family friendly. Not that all Marvel is family friendly, but you understand what I'm saying. And so, yeah. But, I mean, Jeff Johns is one of my favorite writers. He wrote some of the best Green Lantern comics, or the best Green Lantern comics of all time. But it sucks hearing that he sort of disrespected Zack's vision and hearing from Ray Fisher that he made some racist remarks. That is very unfortunate. And, of course, I would like to think, as someone who's been a fan of his work all this time, that that's not reflective of who he is as a person, but I really don't know. He and Joss Whedon are both very private, and they don't do a lot of interviews, and so there's no way to tell, but I do trust Ray Fisher quite a bit. He seems like a man with a lot of integrity. Carrying onward. The other two pieces of Snyder Cut news that I wanted to share with you actually relate to me and and what I'm working on. So, well, one of them is something I'm working on, and that is I'm producing a Snyder Cut documentary, a mini documentary titled The Snyder Cut Story. And it will essentially be a condensed, simplified, digestible version of the last 5 years that we have all experienced in this Snyder Cut community on this crazy journey. And it will be something that we can all watch and say, yep, this is the journey we went on. And it'll be something that we can show people who are just now finding out about this Justice League thing for the first time, and they can say, oh, wow, this is the story behind this new movie on HBO Max. Like they never would have guessed. They'd never understand, why is this movie 4 hours? Why is it so reminiscent of this movie that came out in 2017 that I remember seeing? Like it's crazy. There's so many people out there who don't know about this story, and so I want this documentary to kind of be something I can send to people and say, hey, if you're thinking about checking out that Zack Snyder Justice League film on HBO Max, watch this first so you know just how much emotion and how much story is behind it. So, yeah, hopefully it's something that people enjoy watching and enjoy sharing. So that will be coming in about a week, is my plan, before the premiere date. Which brings me to my last piece of news. Your boy was invited to the Zack Snyder's Justice League world premiere on March 15th. And that's pretty cool. I'm elated about that. My friend Keilan, who I mentioned in 2 episodes ago, I said he got an invitation to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Absolutely, he deserves it. He's been instrumental in the movement, and I think I just said I was jealous, and it's awesome. Like, that'd be really cool to go to that. And now I'm going to that because he got me the hookup. He talked to Zack Snyder personally about inviting 10 more people who have sort of been, in this movement, but sort of under the radar, right? And I was one of those lucky 10. And so I will be watching the film on the 15th rather than the 18th. So I will see the film on that Monday instead of that Thursday. And I'll be one of the first people to see the movie, and I'll be seeing it before the official release date. It's so mind-blowing. It's so crazy to me. So crazy. Life is wild, man. The fact that I am attending that virtual premiere of the movie I've been looking forward to since 2016, when the first trailer came out for Justice League. I've been looking forward to it for so long, man. And I've been happy to contribute to this movement in any way that I can, and I hope to continue supporting the Snyder family and their mission and suicide awareness and prevention in the coming years. And I hope to see more of this world that Zack Snyder has built. But if this is the final film from Zack, if this is the last thing we see in this universe, I will be satisfied, because I know he and the entire team have put their heart and soul into it. And so I really, really, really can't wait to watch it on March 15th. And I can't wait for the world to watch it on March 18th. It's going to be incredible. All right. Well, thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. The Snyder Cut streams worldwide, HBO Max, March 18th. Check it out. This has been Keilan Morrissey with Keeping It Keilan, bringing you your daily dose of the Snyder Cut. Tune in again for more pop culture, more mental health, more adventures, and stories of all kinds. Thank you for watching. Peace out, everybody. Peace and love.